So we've had a lot of emails with requests for homes that have more square footage. Just video proves that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a lot of square footage in a home. We're going to go through 7 houses with more than 3,000 square feet, all 200,000 or less. In this first house, this is in McRae, Helena, Georgia. This house has 3,300 square feet. Actually a very attractive home. It's got a nice wraparound porch. It also has a huge outbuilding garage. Looks like, I believe from the description, it holds 6 cars. You can see in this photo right here. This is the outbuilding garage. The main house itself has 2 beds, 3 baths, but a lot of living space. And if you look on the inside, you'll see that it's not a beat up old house. It's got a lot of modern upgrades. It's got new paint. Looks like the kitchen has some granite countertops. So it just goes to show you do not have to spend a lot of money to get square footage. The next house we'll look at, this is in Wyoming. This is an older home. Some of these houses with larger square footage will be older homes. This is for people that are interested in more rural locations, or moving to Wyoming is something that is a very common desire these days. This house has 6,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. And as you can see, some of the decor and the layout of the home is older, but it's got some upgrades. You can see one of the bathrooms been upgraded. It's got hardwood floors, got a nice fireplace. Kitchen, it's not the oldest kitchen in the world, right? You'll see from this photo that it has at least modern appliances, granite countertops. It looks like there's one room that might need some flooring to be redone, but here's an example of a 6,000 square foot house under 200,000. Next house is also an interesting home. This is in Pennsylvania, 3-story house, 5 bedrooms, only 1.5 baths. That's very common on older homes. But you can see it also has an extra garage in the back, and we'll look at the description of it shortly. Larger home, you'll see that the square footage is over 3,000 feet, shows 3,300. It actually has 2 lots. This lot is the main house. There's also a lot here across this little side street that has the garage on it. We included this house just because Colorado is a very desirable area. It's not the most modern house in the world, but it does have, according to the description, 1.6 acres and over 3,000 feet, right? Again, $200,000. Simple home, but on a lot of land in Colorado, which is a desirable move-to location in the era of Zoom calls and Zoom meetings. The interior is not the worst in the world, right? It's got some upgrades. It's an older home, but very, very livable. Next one we'll take a look at. This is an interesting kind of older estate home in Lake City, Florida. This is central northern Florida, close to the Georgia border, a little bit north of Orlando. You can see the Spanish moss in the trees. Interesting house. We'll go through a couple of the photos. It's an older home, but relatively upgraded, right? It's not beat up. It's had some upgrades since it was new, obviously. And the layout and decor is very interesting. It's got that kind of Spanish architecture with the Spanish moss in the trees. Next, we'll take a look at, this is swinging up to the northeast. This is in Connecticut, New Hartford, Connecticut. 3,700 feet, almost 4,000. An older home, but it's got 6 bedrooms, right? Large open kitchen, which we'll see here in a moment. Again, it's got some upgrades. It's got at least new paint. It's not beat up. It's a nicer old kind of farmhouse, historic home. And again, if somebody wants to live in Litchfield County, which is close to New York, this is a kind of example where you can live pretty much anywhere. We went all over the country looking for these homes. Last one we'll take a look at is one of the most popular hot areas of the country, just outside of San Antonio, Austin area, Texas. This is in Converse. It's in Bexar County, 200,000, 3,600 square feet, 4.2, and this is a newer home, right? This is built in the 90s. It's not, an old 1800s home in a subdivision, and again, brick house, 2-story, you're 200 grand. So it just proves that you don't need to spend $1 million to get a 3,000, 4,000 square foot house. You can be well under that, in the $200,000 range, and have a large home with a lot of space. Again, like we've talked about before, some of these homes might need a little maintenance. You might want to redo this kitchen, maybe put granite, maybe paint the cabinets, maybe get rid of this older light fixture. But this gets you into a home for a reasonable amount with space that you can do the cosmetic upgrades later, and you'll be locked into the real estate market. So once you do these upgrades, some you can do yourself, some will be relatively inexpensive. Then if you need to move up, you have a house that'll have equity. You can flip it, sell it, and then maybe get something a little more exactly what you want in the future. But again, another proof that $200,000 just doesn't get you small 1,000 square foot homes. There's many larger homes all over the country. We went from Florida to Nevada to Wyoming to Colorado to Connecticut. We covered everywhere, including the hot area of the central Texas, Austin, San Antonio.